borrowing cash, money-rich China is making huge deals with our enemies and allies. This week, they're promising hundreds of billions of dollars to EU nations. Charlie, now this has you worried. Why so?
Well, I mean, listen, China is not just any other country. This is a country with grand designs of world domination. They are still, they're still a dictatorship. They're, semi-communist. I don't know what you want to call them. And they do have designs on taking us out, and I really do worry about them. And look at it this way. The Chinese can control monetary policy in the U.S. simply by boycotting our debt. Long-term interest rates go up, and that has a major impact on the economy. So, I worry about these guys.
But, Wayne, I mean, he's got a point here. They hold $846 billion in U.S. Treasuries, Wayne. They are the biggest holder of U.S. Treasuries.
Well, the biggest problem, I think, is the fact that they can use their influence with foreign countries by virtue of the fact that they are now maybe getting close to the largest capitalist country in the world, regardless of what they call themselves. But I'm not so sure that what Charlie's saying, that inflation, if it's our printing of money is going to eventually, and the buying in of treasuries is eventually going. We have potential inflation in this country, regardless of who holds the debt.
Well, I'm not really,
we're just spending.
I'm not necessarily talking. I'm not talking about inflation. I'm talking about suppose the Chinese boycott an auction. What's going to happen?
What Charlie is saying.
Suppose they boycott an auction and interest rates spike. I mean, if that doesn't scare anybody, it should.
Well,
and by the way,
Wayne,
just a big point. They're not capitalists.
I'm not missing your point. But
they're not capitalists. They're crony capitalists at best.
All right, Steve. He's saying that the national security risk that China could just back up and quit being on the gravy train that we need them to be on right now. And it's not just us. They're going out to the EU now. That's kind of the first time that they've really put their club at the EU.
There's so many scary aspects to the way China has approached all of this. The one that really the most, though, is one that I don't think a whole lot of people are talking about. Next year, they're going to have the most amount of patents per year filed by any country in the world, mostly in high technology. By 2014, they're going to have double the amount of new patent supply of any other country in the world. So they're going after being the global leader of innovation, and right now it looks like they get it running away, and that's pretty scary.
But they also, Jonathan, I mean, look at the laundry list of countries that they are now doing deals with, and it's not just they're taking on Greek debt, believe it or not. They just cut deals with Italy, Australia, Argentina. They are moving around the world, and it used to be the U.S. was the country that everybody went to, and we're not anymore. And Charlie's point is that's a serious problem when you've got a communist government.
Well, sure, I don't understand. On one hand, you say this, right? They're the largest holder, as you put out, of our debt. So obviously, they're not dissing us. To Charlie's kind of in a scare conundrum. Charlie, I know you have an aversion to the Chinese, but my God, look at your apartment.
I don't have an aversion to the Chinese.
No,
I have an aversion to Chinese communism.
To them holding so much of our debt. Okay.
Well, you don't think that's a problem, Jonathan?
Because Japan is the second largest owner.
You think a good that a totalitarian dictatorship that murders its own people, where there's no religious freedom, owns most of our debt? You think that's good?
But Tracy, Charlie's point is that they could. But Tracy, what they could do is just quit buying U.S. Treasuries. They could go to Italy and say bye-bye, United States. Then who do we have to up? No one. The Japanese.
They could do whatever the heck they want because there's no checks and balances in that system. I am afraid of China just as much as Charlie. There's no auditing system. Heck, there's no FDA. These guys make up their financials as they go, and we sit here overseas, believe every number that comes out of that country when most of them are made up and guesses. There's no system. There's no system. And why do we go off their numbers and trust everything they say?
All right. Well, they're buying our debt now. We'll see. Coming up, everybody, cash for chunkers works. You heard me right. One big private company successfully paying its employees to shed the pounds. Did it just prove that trillion-dollar healthcare law is a big fat waste?
Capitol Hill clash. The GP is on the offense to retake control. So what's the Dem strategy to defend their turf?